But here's something interesting. Super Bowl rookie ref tapped for the title game. This is out of Yahoo News. New York referee Bill Villanovich will be officiating his first Super Bowl when he leads a 7-man crew picked to work the NFL's title showcase, the league said on Tuesday. Bill Schuster, head linesman, Dana McKenzie, back judge, and Terrace Miles will be officiating the Super Bowl for the first time. So we have 4 first-timers working the Super Bowl. And as we've seen in the past, especially in the NBA, there have been instances where referees have gone to prison time for fixing games in these point-shaving scandals. Could this happen on a crucial call? It's a lot harder with all the instant replays and stuff, and you got to grease a lot of palms. But all it takes is one man to eventually change the outcome of the game. So whoever's watching, are you going to be like this group of people at the bar? Are you going to be like this guy?
You understand? You understand?
Calm your butt down and just a daggone game. So what, Green Bay lost?
I don't understand, man. They supposed to put Russell Wilson, he taking that out of the game.
If you're rooting for one of these teams, it's going to be one or the other. But there's so much going on in the world. We might even be on the brink of World War III. We've got American commandos, it appears, running around the Ukraine.
Стоп, подождите, скажите, что это?
On my face, please.
I mean, the price of oil is dropping. What does that mean? That means our economy's tanking. IBM's laying off an unprecedented number of people. There's a global realignment going on. But what do most people care about? Who's going to win the Super Bowl? What are the commercials going to be? You people need to wake up and get out of it. Now, like I said, I told you I'm going to prove that there's a fix. Let's get into this next article from thefixesin.net. This is another Brian Toohey article, The Unmentioned Consequences of the NFL's Recent Legal Battles. And he goes into a bunch of different court cases and how they were judged. But the real meat of this article is at the end under the Spygate lawsuit. There's a guy named Carl Mayer who was a New York Jets season ticket holder. And he tried to sue the NFL when it came out that the Patriots were videotaping the other team to learn their call signals. Well, what happened? The judge decided against Mayer and for the NFL. The judge wrote, at best, Mayer possessed nothing more than a contractual right to a seat from which to watch the NFL game between the Jets and the Patriots, and that right was clearly honored. It even says it on the back of the tickets. It says this ticket only grants entry into the stadium and a spectator seat for a specified NFL game. Thereby, Mayer suffered no causable injury to a legally protected right or interest. In fact, I have got last year's Super Bowl ticket. We sent Josh Owens and Jakari Jackson down there to see what all the hubbub was about. And on the back of this ticket, it says, this ticket is a revocable license and only grants entry into the stadium and a spectator seat for the specified National Football game. Admission may be refused or withdrawn or the ticket holder ejected at the sole discretion of the NFL. Now, what does that actually mean? That means the NFL has no culpability if the game is fixed or not. It doesn't really matter. It could be professional wrestling. It could be determined years in advance. It could be determined a day in advance. It could be determined during halftime of the game. It doesn't matter. The NFL has no legal right to put on a fair contest. And it says it in English right here, and there's a lawsuit to back it up. So, my friends, I'm sorry to tell you, the Super Bowl is most likely fixed.
Say, now you being funny, man. You know I'm a Packer fan, man. I can't stand this shit, man.
That's right. So don't cry in your hot wings this Sunday when it doesn't go your way. And, maybe take the time to learn about what's going on in the world and talk to your friends about it and educate your friends, because the world is a lot bigger than a football game, and it's definitely a lot more important. This has been Rob Dew for InfoWars.com and InfoWars Nightly News. If you like reports like these, please consider becoming a member of PrisonPlanet.tv. Your membership allows you to share your username and password with up to 20 people. That's 20 InfoWarriors for the price of one. So what are you doing? Get your membership today. Thank you for watching.
The knowledge of the ancients, tried and true, trusted herbs and extracts fused with the latest nutraceutical science. Introducing the all-new Ancient Defense Herbal Immunity Blend, crafted with over 14 key ancient herbs and extracts to supercharge and prepare your body for what experts admit is the most dangerous season of the year. We have rejected hundreds of other formulations in our quest to bring you what is simply the most powerful and comprehensive proprietary formula that we have ever created in the realm of herbal immunity. For the last 2 years, our team has been working with top doctors, nutritionists, and chemists to develop the ultimate nutraceutical formulation. Experience the benefits of combining over 14 ancient herbs and extracts with exciting new advances in nutraceutical science. For a limited time, get 25% off on this introductory offer. Visit ancientdefense.com or call 888-253-3139. ancientdefense.com. 2015 is almost here, and with it comes those New Year's resolutions to finally transform your body the way you want it. There's a reason over 88% of New Year's resolutions fail. Make this year different by equipping yourself with Oxy Powder, the next level in cleansing the body naturally. Using super oxygenation, Oxy Powder, available through InfoWarsLife.com, gently cleanses the body while you sleep with easy capsules. Tens of thousands of individuals have used Oxy Powder to cleanse their bodies and aid in their transformations. Even InfoWars Nightly News Director Rob Dew has been using Oxy Powder with incredible success.
Took it that first day, then I took it for 6 more days after that. 12 pounds melted off in about a week. I'd say a week, 7 days.
2015 can be different. Diet and exercise are important, but a lot of us have already tried that. Oxy Powder flushes it out. Secure your Oxy Powder at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139.
And welcome back. Recently, we've heard President Obama say that he wants to make going through the first 2 years of college as seamless as finishing high school. But there's a problem with that. Somebody has to pay for this. And we'll talk about all that and so much more with our guest tonight, Callan Diggs. Thank you for joining us, Callan.
Thank you, Jakari, for having me.
Okay, now you have a book here, Reaching the Finish Line, and it's my understanding that the book is coming out very soon. So tell us when the book is going to be released, where people can find it, and also what encouraged you to write the book.
Absolutely. So the book right now is available in an ebook format. The official date for the paperback is May 5th this year. What inspired me to write the book, Jakari, is I've helped 2,000 people reach the finish line in their careers since the Great Recession. And a lot of people came from different situations. Some people lack the college degree, or they lack the high school diploma. Or some people, they graduated out of college, but they want to change the degree, but they didn't want to go back to school for it. So I wrote the book as a bridge to help people have direction, get them out of complacency, and help them reach the finish line.
Right, and you're a young guy yourself. You're what, 28?
I am,
You're
yes.
the same age as me. So
yeah.
You get career advice from somebody who's actually in the field, and that's something I want to talk to you about. Okay, so I'll tell you a little bit about my experience. I was working, or I was going to school in Oklahoma. I was about 16 hours away from my degree, and then, I sent some stuff into InfoWars, and Alex actually gives me a job. That was my experience, but that doesn't happen for everybody. With the research you've done, what percentage of people actually get that dream job coming straight out of college?
Well, it's quite interesting, Jakari, because 3/4 of Americans are not happy in their jobs. So that's 75% of people that are stuck in their jobs. Perhaps they gotta just do it to take care of their family, or they gotta do it just to get by. So that's not typical. However, there are some strategies, and we will talk about today, how people can reach the finish line, depending on where they're coming from. Again, some people don't have a high school diploma, maybe because for a single mom, she got pregnant and now she has to take care of her kid. Another person, they may not have a college degree because they can't afford it, or they just don't want to do it anymore. So there's different situations that we could talk about.
So let's talk with that last one you're talking about. They don't have the finances, or they can't get the scholarships. What would you recommend to somebody?
Absolutely. So there's several different programs. So for example, there's race-based programs. So for example, there's African-American scholarships or Hispanic scholarships that a person can apply for. There's also scholarships that's provided if you come from a certain income bracket. So if you're a lower income bracket, that can be provided for you. Minnesota has some programs like that. Oklahoma, state that you're from, actually has something called the Oklahoma Promise Program, which allows some free tuition for freshmen and sophomores who's getting started there.
Right, and we hear all this talk about college graduates make X number of dollars more than somebody who doesn't graduate. Have you found that to be true?
You know what, that's a good question, Jakari, because I get that a lot. And the fact of the matter is, if it's a specialized career, there's no doubt that a college graduate is going to make more money. However, when we talk about non-specialized careers, let's talk about the arts major. Okay. So the arts major is people like photography, theater, music. Well, the average starting salary for an art major is $30,000 a year. But that's not a whole lot when you consider that most of these college graduates are going to have a lot of student loan debt. And they probably be spending decades and decades to pay that off. And then this is where a high school dropout or a college dropout can actually make more than these people who have degrees in arts. Nothing wrong with arts, but it's probably not the best bet, if you want to invest hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of dollars for college.
And I find that a lot because I'll see people who didn't go to college or they just went to community college and they have a very small amount of debt versus my friends, they may have went to the big state school and they spent that big state money and maybe they make more money on the job, but the person who didn't go to college or just has a high school diploma, they don't have a whole lot of debt. They may work at, Cracker Barrel, but they don't have the $70,000 in debt. So have you found that there's a medium debt for people who come out of a 4-year or 2-year degree program?
Absolutely. It's about between $35,000 and $40,000. So that's the typical debt that a college graduate is going to end up graduating with. Now, as you said, that definitely differs. So if a person go to Harvard or Penn State or one of these big universities, it's going to be a whole lot more. There's people that have $80,000, $90,000 in student loan debt, and they're probably never going to pay it off. They're probably going to die with it, unfortunately. But there's definitely ways, as we talked about, that it could be avoided. For example, one way is for, I always say that a college dropout or college perhaps someone who's graduating, or perhaps someone who's graduating from high school, they should consider doing a gap year. And what's great about a gap year is a gap year gives you contrast. And for someone, it may be teaching English abroad. It may be volunteering at an orphanage abroad, maybe like in Costa Rica or something like that. But what it does is it exposes you to different cultures. It increases your skills in diversity. It also gives you good customer service skills. It also gives you good business experience skills. There's some studies that have shown that people who have studied or worked abroad and come back in the U.S. are actually more successful than people who have never done.
And it also gives you an opportunity just to contrast that, as you were saying, because some people, like I did, they have that tunnel vision. You get out of high school, you go straight into college, which for me wasn't a bad experience. But then some guys, they look up and like you said, they're $30,000, $40,000 in debt. So it also gives you a chance just to sit back and reflect and see, is this really the best course of action for me?
And what's powerful about that, Jakari, is that a lot of times what happens is a student graduating from high school, they'll go to college and they'll say, what, I want to do computers. And then after 2 years, they don't want to do that anymore. And they change their major. And now the trend is being that it actually takes 6 years to get your bachelor's as opposed to 4 years. Because a lot of times when high school graduates start college, they don't know what they want to do. So by doing that gap year, it allows them to be able to kind of get some contrast that we talked about. It allows them to really exercise different options on what may be a best fit for them. Perhaps they can start the first 2 years of general education courses. And then by their sophomore year, they'll be more decided in which way they want to go.
Yeah, and I definitely experienced that as well because I went originally, I did some television production and then I went to social sciences, criminal justice, and eventually came back to the television aspect of it, the production aspect of it. But a lot of people, like you said, they experience that thing. They switch majors multiple times. They go from this school to that school. So I think it would be beneficial to people to, take the time just to reflect. And maybe like you said, if you do go straight to college, maybe just take the general education courses, maybe take a few electives just to see what works out for you. But as far as the people, let's say they don't go to college. I know in your book you talk about how to maybe switch a career without going through the college experience.
Absolutely. And one way a person can do that by changing career successfully is by pivoting. And by pivoting, that is going from one industry to another industry. So one industry that you have knowledge and experience in and going to another industry. And in order to make it successful, you want to go from industries that are similarly related. So that way it significantly reduces the learning curve. So one example could be a teacher. So a teacher is going to deal with kids, and social services, they're going to deal with kids as well. And sometimes it could be kids of developmental disability, sometimes it could be kids that's underserved. So that could be a great transition from a teacher to become someone involved in social services without having to have a significant learning curve. Sure, they may take maybe some CEU, which is continuing education units, to kind of catch them up to speed, but at the same time, it's not going to be a 180.
Right. And we talk about the experience because a lot of people, they come out of college, and I experienced this as well. You have all the credits, but they say, where's your actual experience? Where's your internships? Did you apprenticeship somewhere? And a lot of people don't have that. And that's actually my experience because I went to school in Kansas. I got my 2-year degree there. I was interning at a TV station, a small TV station that gave me a job, $7 an hour or whatever. I moved back to Oklahoma and nobody wanted to give me a job. They said, you don't have the proper experience. So maybe you can elaborate on that point as people need to understand when they go through these degrees, it's not just the piece of paper, it's the experience that goes along with it that's actually going to get them the job.
Absolutely. And I definitely recommend that a person do an internship. Some colleges, they kind of have it within their program. Other colleges, they don't even mention it. You know, so you graduate and you think you're highly qualified, got this shiny degree,